I thought I'd seen it all. I've lived on Elmwood Drive for over 8 years, and when you've been in a place that long, you start thinking you know everyone and everything around you. But trust me, I was wrong. And let me tell you, nothing shook me up more than what happened one Tuesday morning. My name's Jerome Oramus, and I'm a family guy married to Denise, my amazing wife, and we've got twin boys, Marcus and Malcolm, who keep us busy. So, we had just gotten back from our annual family reunion in Atlanta. 5 days in a different city, away from the usual neighborhood drama. Felt like a vacation within a vacation. My wife, Denise, was practically in a rush to get back to our routine, but we didn't know what we were about to walk into. Before we left, Denise had been desperately searching for her favorite designer tracksuit, the one she'd splurged on for her birthday. The cream-colored juicy couture set with the rhinestone details that she'd absolutely adored. She'd been tearing through every closet, every drawer, every nook and cranny of the house. I remember her saying, "I swear I left it in the laundry room, but we thought maybe it would turn up once we got back." That's usually how it works, right? Things seem to magically reappear when you stop looking for them. But when we returned, it didn't reappear. So, one morning, I'm out taking the trash to the curb, and I see her Patricia Henderson, our neighbor, about 3 houses down. But something wasn't right. Now, Pat's always the one out on her morning power walks, but today, she was wearing something off, something familiar. I rubbed my eyes, thought maybe I was just exhausted from the trip, but nope, there she was, strutting down the sidewalk like she owned the place wearing Denise's tracksuit. The same one we'd been looking for. And it wasn't like it was a coincidence. No. The rhinestones were catching the light just right, glinting like she had no care in the world. My heart started to pound, but I kept it together. I'm not one to jump to conclusions, but when you've been married for over 12 years, you know your spouse's clothes. And that tracksuit was something Denise had been raving about ever since she bought it. I didn't want to make a scene, but I called Denise over to the window. "Baby, come look at this and tell me I'm not losing my mind." She came over, glanced at Pat, and I'll never forget the look on her face. Her jaw just dropped. "Jerome, that's my tracksuit," she said, voice dropping like she knew we were about to walk into a whole world of trouble. The thing is, I've known Pat for years. Always thought of her as this nice, harmless older lady who was, well, a little too friendly with everyone's business. But this was crossing a line. So, instead of marching over there like some kind of war hero, we did what any smart person would called in reinforcements. Denise called her sister Monica, who lives just down the street, and we started gathering intel. Within an hour, Monica had dug up the dirt, thanks to her network of dog walkers, grocery shoppers, and nosy neighbors. Turns out, Pat had been telling people that she'd found abandoned clothes in yards all around the neighborhood and had taken it upon herself to clean up by collecting them. What a load of crap. She was stealing, plain and simple. And it wasn't just Denise's tracksuit. Oh no. Mrs. Martinez's son's basketball jersey went missing, Mr. Thompson complained about his gardening shirts, and the stories kept piling up. This woman had been running a one-woman theft ring, and we were just now catching on. The more we heard, the angrier Denise got. Now, I'm not saying this is a rich neighborhood, but Pat lived in a house that was easily twice the size of ours. She drove a brand new Lexus. There was no reason she couldn't afford her own clothes. So, we sat down that evening, and we planned. It wasn't just about one tracksuit anymore. It was about principle. We couldn't let this woman get away with stealing from hard-working families, then walking around like she was the queen of the block, wearing our stuff. We decided to be smart about it. Instead of going straight to the police, we gathered more evidence first. Who was going to believe us, right? I mean, she's the sweet, elderly lady who's always baking cookies, and we're the black family living on the block, one of the few of our kind. We knew how the game worked. We needed to be extra careful. The next morning, I grabbed my coffee and, under the pretense of checking the mail, Positioned myself on the front lawn like I was just another dad on the block. Sure enough, at 7:30 a.m., here comes Putty's time in Mrs. Garcia's purple workout gear. I couldn't make this stuff up if I tried. I whipped out my phone and started recording. I wasn't trying to be obvious, but I had to get proof. And, wouldn't you know it, Pat looked over and waved at me. "Good morning, Jerome," she called out in that too sweet for her own good voice. "Beautiful day, isn't it?" As she stood there, letting her little chihuahua, Princess, do her business on the lawn without picking it up, of course I thought, she's really not even trying to hide it. She was practically confessing to stealing the clothes. The nerve of her. I called Denise immediately, played the recording, and by the time I got home that evening, Denise had turned into full-on detective mode. Photos of missing clothes? Check. Timeline of when the thefts happened? Check. A map of every yard she'd stolen from? Check. My wife had turned into a criminal mastermind. It was like something out of a crime show. The next morning, we went for broke. We confronted Pat with our evidence. Pat was shockingly calm. She opened the door, wearing the same tracksuit, and greeted us like we were just stopping by for a chat. And that's when it all blew up. "Pat, we need to talk about some missing clothing items," Denise said. "We think you may have taken something of ours." You could almost see the panic in Pat's eyes for a second. But she quickly recovered, turning on the charm, going from, "Oh, hello," to "How dare you," in an instant. The sweet old lady act? Gone. "Are you accusing me of theft?" she snapped. It was like a switch flipped. The tension in the air thickened, and she went from defensive to aggressive. She denied everything. But when we pulled out the video footage, she lost it. She accused us of spying on her, of recording her without her permission. "That's illegal," she shouted. "You should be ashamed of yourselves." But the real kicker came when Denise, fed up with Pat's lies, said, "Look, we know what you've been doing. Just give us our clothes back, and we can forget about this." That's when Pat revealed her true self. Her voice dropped, and she snarled, "You people are all the same." Right there, the conversation went from theft to full-blown racism. "You people left, no doubt about it," she spat, alluding to us being the problem in the neighborhood. I won't repeat everything she said, but let's just say it was the kind of racist rant you don't forget. You'd think someone would have seen her for what she really was, but enough police arrived shortly after, and we had to go through the whole process of presenting evidence and testimony. Pat had pushed it too far, and in the end, the police had no choice but to take her in. But that wasn't the end of it, not by a long shot. I'll continue the script in subsequent steps, covering the confrontation with the police, Pat's downfall, and the aftermath. Would you like me to proceed from here?